Welcome into another exciting edition of Locked On 76ers. Keith, yesterday, the world reacted to Joel Embiid at practice, at shoot-around, at the Camden practice facility for 5 seconds. And it set
I
a
know,
great
right?
conflagration in the world. We're going to give the best reactions from our comments after the show, all that and more on this edition of Locked On 76ers.
You are Locked On 76ers, your daily Philadelphia 76ers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And we do thank you for making Locked On 76ers your first listen every day, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Keith Pompey, Marc Farzetta. It was 5 seconds, Keith. It was one post on social media, but it showed a little shake there from Joel Embiid. It showed him pulling up. It showed a more svelte and slender Joel Embiid, and it showed Joel Embiid without a knee brace recently at a Sixers, can you call it a practice, a get-together ahead of training camp starting in just a couple of weeks. And everybody reacted to it. It was, as we called it yesterday, the feel-good movie of the summer, if you could even call it that. You noticed right away two things. One, him being slimmer. Two, no knee brace. Have you heard anything since then as to more of a health update regarding Joel Embiid before we get to the Sixers fan reactions?
Now, we haven't heard anything in regards to that, probably because, there's really, outside of those guys working out, they don't have to do any, media availability or anything like that. But I also think that the video being shown, I guess, gave the message that they wanted to provide. They want the message to be out there that Joel Embiid is getting ready, and he's slender. He's slimmed up a little bit, so he could be, on the way. Like I said before, it's one of those things where let's just get the optimism out there. Let's like preach the. Everybody's talking about the Phillies. They're talking about the Eagles. Let's show a video of Joel Embiid being slender.
First off, I love that. I said even on one of the shows we did last week that when I look at Joel Embiid and I look at this whole 76ers team, I am desperate, Keith, to give optimism to the city of Philadelphia, whether it's VJ Edgecombe, whether it's Jared McCain being at the Xfinity Mobile Arena unveiling, if you could call it that, for the new name of the arena, obviously going from Wells Fargo to Xfinity Mobile. Just any ounce of optimism you can get from Jared McCain's vibe, from VJ Edgecombe, and just the on down the line. So there would be nothing that would skyrocket optimism more so than it coming out in the next couple of weeks that Joel Embiid feels ready to start the season for two reasons. One, as we talked about yesterday, this is his call. He has dictated over the summer. It's going to be his call. He's not rushing into anything. If he's going to be ready to play, it's going to be him saying he's ready to play, not the Sixers saying, well, you should really be ready. So I wanted to go through a couple of comments that came in after yesterday's show and their reaction to all of this. This one goes along the lines of what you were saying, and it has to do, this is from Christopher Hunter. That's the key. And this is what you said, Keith, slimming down. It's the only thing he could do to save his knees. He looks good, but I think slimming down is more essential. Why do you think that is so essential to Joel Embiid's overall game in the coming season?
I mean, he's right because we talk about the joints, the weight on the knees, and everything, and the less you weigh, the less pressure you're putting on your knees, especially with all this jumping. You look at guys like, there were several players in the past who've had injury problems. Look at Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan. And I'm not saying he was injury plagued, but as he got older he lost the weight and it enabled him to play at a high level, toward the latter stages of his career. You see that happen all the time where you have guys who are especially big men who, they'll get an injury. Next thing you know, they'll come back with less weight. And because there's a lot of wear and tear, people forget. So Joel Embiid, 7'2", he listed as 280. He probably weighs a whole lot more than that. And it's not because he's a heavy guy. It's just that he's a big guy. So, to me, him looking at right now, he probably looks like he's 280. Finally, maybe 275. Yeah, I mean, because let's face it, he's 7 feet 2 inches. So, yeah, you're carrying a lot. Like if you look at it. So, yeah, you need to slim down. just because it takes less pressure off your knees. Think about it. A guy at 300 pounds with a bad knee keeps landing on that. He's putting more and more pressure. The lighter you are, you can jump higher. You can, when you come down, it's not as much, wear and tear on that knee.
Yeah, I'm a lash under 6 foot, and my knees are begging me to lose weight. So yeah, a 7-footer, I can see why that would apply. This is one of my favorites. I was surprised we didn't get this during the show yesterday, Keith. But this is the guy just praying brick money 40, keeping it real, listening to y'all and others about Joe this summer. Joe was cooked, career was over, crying face emojis, all that. If I was Joe, I'd ask for a trade. Unappreciated Philadelphia fans. I think that means unappreciated Philadelphia fans and media don't deserve Joe. I was waiting for this. It didn't come up during the show yesterday. But let's be real here. And this is one of the other commenters I saw, and I agree with this because we've said this a number of times. Everyone wants Joel Embiid not only be healthy, but wants Joel Embiid to be an MVP candidate again. I ain't betting on either of those. And as I even said throughout the entire summer, Keith, look, I would love for him to come back and be healthy to start the season and be great. But with Joel Embiid, what we're trained as a city here in Philadelphia that follows this team, what we're trained to believe is, so the knee's healthy, so he lost weight. Hopefully that helps the long-term sustainability of his health. But we just always wait for what's next. I'm going to enjoy every minute Joel Embiid has to play for the Sixers from this point on. But in the back of my mind, I'm going to be thinking, what's next? Do you think it's justified for people to talk about the Sixers fan base not appreciating what Joel Embiid has done for the city?
No offense to my man with the message, but he sounds like a homer, like, you know what I mean, on face and stuff like this, right? So here's the deal. The last time we seen Joel, when you look at Joel Embiid, we saw him in the Olympics. We saw that he missed the first 9 games of the season. We saw that the last game that he played was against the Brooklyn Nets in February, where he was benched in the fourth quarter. We haven't seen him since, right? Then we see an interview where he's saying that, hey, look, I'm not going to come back until I'm ready to come back and play, right? So you look at that and you have to say to yourself, like, yo, is he cooked? What's going on? Like, 2 knee surgeries in 14 months, 3 in 9 seasons, right? Last time we saw him, they had to put Yabusele in the game to bring him back, to help him try to win the thing. So, when you look at it, I honestly feel like the attention and the stuff that people were saying on social media, the stuff that media members were saying, kind of sort of motivated Joel. I mean, think about it. He's ranked 54th in the NBA right now, or the 53rd best player, right? You don't think all that stuff is motivation? You know what I mean? You don't think that? So when a guy says, like, look at you guys saying this and saying that and this and that, dude, all we went off of what we saw and what Joel was saying. That's that. That's just how it is. Like, you just don't be a homer and say, oh, everything is going to be great. Joel Embiid is going to be MVP. Joel Embiid is going to get average 40 points. Nah, we saw the last time we saw him being benched in the fourth quarter, not because he was hurt, because the coach said that Gershon Yabusele gave him a better chance of winning.
Yeah. Nick Nurse after that game, I remember that. The thing with Joel Embiid that I find so fascinating, though, is your imagination can run wild with a bunch of different, going down a bunch of different avenues here. One is the obvious that he's just hurt, he's banged up throughout the year, or as I was saying earlier, you just wait for that next shoe to drop when it comes to what's the next injury with Embiid. But the other side of this, as I said yesterday, I would love nothing more than Joel Embiid to have some absolutely bonkers revenge tour in the upcoming season where he plays like 70 games or whatever. I mean, even though they have all the back-to-backs in the world next year, maybe, even 65 games he plays next year, and he, like, right on point, 65, has a chance to compete again for the MVP award. I would love for that to happen. To go back to it, though, I'm not betting on it, but getting this video now, a couple of weeks leading up to training camp, does exactly what you said in the open. It shoots a flare up there of positivity and optimism surrounding the 76ers in an offseason that has just been marred. and inundated with negativity. And it's not even people just reaching for a negative take. It's acknowledging the obvious and the very real situation the Sixers are in, both with injuries and then the fallout, the cap hell that they're also in if Joel Embiid isn't anything close to healthy in the upcoming season. So that's the way I look at it right there. This one, now we're going to get into the conspiracy theories for a second here of the comments from yesterday's show, Keith. I want to know what Embiid did to be able to practice without the knee brace. When will we get that press conference, says Robert Downs. All right. What do you think he did? I think he committed. I know that a lot of people won't like this. I think he committed to his physical therapy. I think he committed to working out as best he could, actually maybe possibly staying in shape, even though he can't be doing the running cardiovascular workouts and all that stuff. I think he committed maybe to a better diet even. What do you think is being implied here as to what do you think he did? I want to know what Joel Embiid did to not even have a knee brace in this little shoot-around drill.
Well, first of all, we got to see, like, we have to see, like, I need to see more than a 5-second snippet, right? I mean, maybe he may have said, let me just take the knee brace off just for this. But I will say this. So typically when a person has a knee injury, let's just say they tear their ACL, the whole nine, even if you blow your whole knee out completely. When you come back, they tend to tell you, like, maybe for an extended period of time, you have to wear the brace. Afterwards, you can go without the brace. So it could have been one of those things where um, Joel Embiid, the doctors looked at it enough and said, you know what, you are past your time. Like, you don't have to wear it anymore. Because when we go back and we think about the 76ers, their word was always one of those things where, well, Joel doesn't need another surgery. They're saying after a while everything is going to go away. If he loses weight, he's going to shed. You know, some of the pain is going to go away because he's lighter, and then the more he plays over an extended period of time. So it could have been his time, like in that timeline, to say, okay, drop the brace, or it could have been maybe the latest procedure he had could have impacted it, or had a positive impact on the knee. But I think that it's probably more of in the lines where, okay, Joel, you're going to have to wear the knee brace for maybe 6 months. But then after that, if you hit all your benchmarks, then you can take the knee brace off.
Gotcha. As far as the press conference goes, can we expect them to talk when training camp opens up? Will Joel?
Oh yeah, no doubt. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's going to be the number one question, Joel. Like, are you still going to have to wear? I know, Joel. I know we saw the video of you out there shooting without the brace. Is this something that you're going to have to? I mean, are you cleared to no longer wear your brace now? And if so, like, what happened? And he's like, oh yeah, I had this process, and now I feel, they feel confident. Because what happens is they say after you mess up your knee, right? They say typically, and I was talking to a physical therapist yesterday, like they say it could take anywhere from a year and a half to 2 years for your knee to completely heal after you have that surgery. So when you look at it, he had the one surgery, it was in February of 2024, right? So,
Mhm.
You look at it now, this is August or September, is September of 2025. So it's about a year and a half, right? So, you can look at it that way. 18 months, you can look at it that way.
Yeah. February surgery, played in the Olympics, 19 games the following NBA season. And then this
Yeah, that's
last
the bad
one.
part.
Yeah, there's no Olympics. Like, they don't do it every year, right? How do the Olympics work? This last one, this is my favorite one of all of them, I got to say. I love it. All right. Luther Jones. I think everyone missed this. This video could be seen as a message to Grimes, especially with the VJ dunk laugh out loud. The team is not all that pressed to sign you. What do you think of it not being about Joel Embiid and it being more of a shot at Quentin Grimes, Keith? What do you make of that one?
I don't think it was a shot at Quentin Grimes. I mean, I don't. It could be. I'm pretty. Look, I'm pretty sure. And while that message does sound crazy,
Mm,
but I do think in negotiations there are certain points of saying, look, bro, you going to take this money or not? Because we got a young guy that's ready to take your place, right?
yeah.
I do think that something like that happens from time to time, but I don't think that that video was more or less a shot for Quentin Grimes. I think that right now, let's be honest. You look at VJ Edgecombe, and the people in Philadelphia are excited about him. You look at Joel Embiid being slimmed down, people get excited about that. I felt like that video was more so to put out there, not for a message at Quentin Grimes, but for a message to Sixers fans to be like, hey, you have reason to be hopeful this year. I don't think it was that deep. You know what I mean? I don't think it was that deep,
Oh yeah.
especially coming off the heels of Quentin Grimes posting a video a couple days earlier or a day before, of him with a Sixers uniform on his Instagram, or a photo,
Mhm.
not video, a photo on his Instagram.
Yeah, of him in a Sixers uniform. When we come back, I want to get some of the comments that are coming up right now regarding the workout. And there is one common theme that I absolutely agree with. And also, just to go back to the Quentin Grimes thing, if they were going to send a message to Quentin Grimes, I think it would have just been a video of VJ Edgecombe highlights at practice, throwing it down and all that stuff. But this, I think, was all about Joel Embiid. We'll get to this and more when we come back, especially this. Dominic Barlow on a two-way deal with the Sixers. We've been highlighting guys over the last couple of weeks, forgotten guys, if you will, when we talk a lot about Paul George and Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid. There are guys under the radar that we haven't highlighted enough. I want to talk about Dom Barlow's potential role with the 76ers in the upcoming year. This is Locked On 76ers on the Locked On Sixers YouTube channel. Back after this. Let me tell you right now about 5-Hour Energy Transfusion. Time to fuel up and turn it up with 5-Hour Energy Transfusion. This grape, ginger, and lime flavored shot brings the iconic taste of a golf course favorite to a non-alcoholic boost. Perfect for sinking birdies out on the golf course and making great memories with friends. It's a hole-in-one for your energy game. Whether you're out on the golf course or just need a little extra boost throughout the day, 5-Hour Energy Transfusion is there for you. Let's say last minute you get a call from your friends. Hey, we need a fourth. Somebody just canceled. Can you make it out? Oh, maybe you had an all-nighter, working or partying, whatever it might have been, and you got to get out there on the course. You can't pass up that opportunity. You just crack it open, sip that, and you're back in the energy game right there with 5-Hour Energy Transfusion. Golf is about good times with good people and good flavors. Grape, ginger, lime flavor. A 5-Hour Energy Transfusion gives you the best part of your clubhouse go-to without leaving the course or chasing down the beverage cart. Now you can amp up the fun even more. Just buy, snap, and enter for a chance to win a dream golf trip for two to any golf tournament in the United States of America. Tee up that trip. Visit 5hewin.com to find the full rules and entry. No purchase necessary. Excludes the Masters tournament. Ends October 31st, 2025. Looking at some of the comments here before we get into Dom Barlow and all that conversation. DKA Mr. Sandman was the first I saw this. The video was to sell tickets, Keith. No pun intended. I absolutely buy that one. Then it was reiterated by Win Forever. It's to sell tickets. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. But if fans aren't getting excited about what Joel Embiid could do in the upcoming season, Joel Embiid being ready, unlike last year, for the start of the regular season, then they're not going to buy the tickets. So it could look, if Joel Embiid, let's put it like this, Keith. If Joel Embiid is filmed during practice, albeit for 5 seconds, having a little shoot around, whatever, and then he's not ready by the opener, that's a bit of a bait and switch. If Joel Embiid doesn't come back till the end of December, that's a little bit of a bait and switch, and I'll be pretty pissed off about that, to be honest with you. But I think it's a fair point. The Sixers, like you said, want to put out the good vibes. Well, yeah, good vibes equal ticket sales, do they not?
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. Both things can be right. I mean, it's definitely
There
to
you go,
sell
yeah.
tickets. I mean, it's definitely to sell tickets. But at the same time, I do think by selling tickets, you have to give at least, and I'm not going to say the illusion because that means it's fake, but you have to like show that Joel Embiid has been working and
Mhm.
that he's way better off than what he said. Because think about it, when you say I'm not coming back until I'm ready, like some people were thinking he wasn't going to be in the building at all until he's ready, but he was out there in the building working with a coach. Now that's the one thing that I will say is that, and it's weird, the last couple of years, Joel Embiid has practiced with the team, but he typically got in shape. He used training camp as a way to get in shape, right? Because he had other ailments that he was dealing with. And if he played in a preseason game, it was typically the last one, or maybe the next to last one, but he would skip the last one. So when you see this, it's like, I kind of expect the same. And what I mean by that is he may be just playing one preseason game, but if he goes and he plays in the one in Abu Dhabi, then you're saying to yourself, okay, this is completely different than the past. But but yeah, I mean, I don't expect Joel to just be, like I said, from day one, be out there doing what he does, or or practicing and doing things. I do think it's going to be gradual, but at the same time, I do think that this is something that people could view as an optimistic move based off how he looked the last time we saw him on the floor, and not only that, the things that he said in that ESPN article.
Mhm. I'll say this, and Mark Jackson saying this in our comments right here. Don't believe the hype. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. All that stuff. I
True,
agree with that.
true.
That's completely fair. This video has allowed me to just think about an optimistic start to the season. But again, I'm not betting on it. And I hate using this phrase, Keith. I hate when people in the media use it, but I don't see any other way to look at it with Joel Embiid than we'll see. We'll
Yeah,
see. It because
we'll
it's
see. You're
not
right.
going to
Yeah,
matter until push comes to shove.
yeah. And let's keep it 100. It's not going to matter. Like, we're not going to really be able to grade Joel and be until the playoffs come. I mean,
Right.
no offense to Joel, but like, Joel's already won an MVP. Joel has done some great things in the regular season, but for this team, the barometer is what you going to do in the playoffs. Like, hey, look, you guys are honoring a team, the 25th anniversary of a team making it to the NBA Finals, right? Why are you honoring them? Because it's the last time that you had it. So like basically, this is all about this season. What are the 76ers going to do?
Fair enough. All right, I want to switch gears now, get over to Dominic Barlow, who the Sixers brought over on a two-way deal. This is one of the guys that we haven't highlighted a lot. He played a little bit in the Summer League. He was signed and then went right to the Summer League to participate a little bit there with the 10-9-8 76ers. Keith, well, we've talked about guys' roles, Trenton Watford being one of them. Obviously, we've talked a lot about Kelly Oubre this offseason, Jared McCain, Quentin Grimes, when eventually he signs, will break him down even further. But Dom Barlow is a guy that you've brought up a bit here. What do you really foresee for him in the upcoming season for the Sixers?
I see him getting an opportunity to show if he can be a quality role player, like a backup power forward, right? I mean, we look at it, he gives them size. He's 6'8", 6'9", 221 pounds. He has career averages of 4.2 points and 3.1 rebounds. Um, he shoots career 51.9% from the field. But then when I look at him, it's just a guy who can go out there and he can just probably grab a couple rebounds, set some picks, do certain things. And who knows? He may not even like be a guy in their rotation. But at the same time, he's a guy who played in 96 NBA games, right? He's a 3-year vet. He's a guy who starts out with a team on a two-way, but he at the end of the season he ends up making the regular roster, right? So to me, for what the lack of money that they don't have, right? The lack of money that they have is kind of sort of one of those things. Like, he might be the best thing that you can get as far as a two-way. Try him out and see what he can do. Now, let's face it. When we look at him, and you look at Jabari Walker, these are two guys who are going to challenge for that final spot. I think that on the outside looking in is up to is a spot that they have Jabari Walker's to lose. But at the same way, Dom Barlow is a guy who can, show you what he can do. I mean, he can go out there and play. He can audition, and if not, it doesn't work out for the Sixers, he could go somewhere else. But
Mhm.
for what they could afford, he might be one of the best things you can get because he should be end of the bench guy on a top 15. But the fact that you're able to get him on a two-way, it's kind of like a steal for the 76ers.
Low risk, high reward type of situation.
Exactly. Bingo. There you go. Low risk, high reward.
All right. We're going to take a quick stoppage here, and we have today's installment of Grimes Watch coming up in a second here on Locked On 76ers.
Mhm.
First off, let's do Keith Pompey Watch. The people are asking. I know you're you got a bag of chips? What is that?
Yeah, bag of chips, yeah.
I do love a bag of chips.
I got this bag from the West Coast too, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice little welcome bag. Nice little goodie bag.
Yeah, one of those. Like I'm like, oh, so what do I got? Oh,
Tootsie
Roll
Rolls?
and- yeah, they gave Tootsie Roll. It's all good.
Are you a Tootsie Roll guy? Do you enjoy the Tootsie Roll?
Mm-mm. Nah.
Yeah, neither am I. I never understood. It was like when some people gave
Nah,
that out for
yeah.
Halloween when I was a kid, I was like, all right, skip this house next year. I've learned the hard way. Was a contract in that goodie bag? Was a contract in that goodie bag for Quentin Grimes yet?
Nah, not yet. But you know what? I'm pretty sure they're doing some, at least trying to get some serious negotiations going right about now. I mean, the good part is, here's the deal. We know what Josh Giddey is making. Let's see what the 76ers want to give him or what he would agree to. I mean, again, I honestly believe that something's going to get worked out. All the signs are there, like all of it. A couple days ago, he posts a picture on his Instagram story of him with a Sixers uniform. The next day, Josh Giddey signs for 4 years, $100 million. So, hey, they're trying to free up some space to see if they can make a trade. The report is so they can give him some more money, right? Um, you know, of course, the team is probably going to deny that. Like, no, we're not doing that because you don't want these guys, Kelly Oubre and what's my man's name, Andre Drummond,
Drummond?
thinking like we're dead men walking. You don't want to do that. But at the
No.
same time, like I do honestly believe that we'll have something here shortly. This is the 9th of September. A media day is on the 26th of September. I honestly feel like something's going to happen before then. I honestly.
Right. I'll cross my fingers for that. His name is Keith Pompey. My name is Marc Farzetta. Thank you guys for joining us a little bit later in the day. Keith's on the travel schedule. He has some traveling to do. So we did the 2:00-ish taping today, our live taping of Locked On 76ers. We will be back with you guys tomorrow, so I look forward to that. Keith, in the meantime, safe travels. Enjoy the travels if you can. Hope you're comfortable. Enjoy the goodie basket. Enjoy the Tootsie Roll, if that's possible, if someone's ever enjoyed
Nah.
Tootsie Roll.
Now I'm bringing that back home. I'm gonna give it to my daughter when I get home, and she
There
might
you
be
go.
like, "Daddy, I don't want that. I don't want that." Yeah,
I brought you candy.
I
You're
know.
welcome.
I know. Yeah,
It's pronounced thank you. All right.
I know.
He's Keith Pompey. I'm Marc Farzetta. We appreciate you guys joining us. I'll be back with you guys tomorrow for another edition of Locked On 76ers. In the meantime, like and subscribe to all things Locked On Sports. We appreciate you guys most humbly. Like and subscribe. Locked On 76ers. Back with you guys tomorrow. See you then. Bye.
All right, peace.